was there a turning point in your life where you feel like that's what led you to road life?
Do you know what, yeah? See, when you grow up in the hood, yeah? You know they say nature nurture, innit? As much as your parents can nurture, you're gonna engage with way more nature, innit? So when you see how hard up you are at home, and then you step out, and then the man them around the corner looking fly, that's, you know what I mean? Just like the white guy that's growing up in his dad's house, he sees his dad grab his briefcase, he's like, yeah, that's what I'm gonna do, you know what I mean? So even though I grew up with my mum and my dad, you know, like, people always say, oh, you know, it's single parent households where certain type of people come. Like, I grew up with my mum and my dad, which might have been worse because I see them both struggling and they both had jobs, you know what I mean? But the people that I saw that looked like they had money were the people on the corner. And as you get older, you get a bit closer, you know what I mean? And you learn what, you know what I mean? They have to teach you about money, innit?
For real. And it touching on that as well, would you say, not just money, but would you say there was a particular lesson? If there was one lesson you'd say, I learned this on the roads, what would it be?
I don't know if I particularly learned a lesson on the road. Like I said, I would class myself as quite a smart person, so I think I just went into things kind of with my smart head on. But, you know, you just always pay your debts.
Always pay your debts.
Pay your debts, man.
Yeah. So we've touched, I guess, on that side of your life. So would you say there was a turning point that led you on the road that you're on now?
Definitely. Yeah, when I a little while after I got out, I got nicked, and I really thought I was gonna go jail. Like, not even for something I did, but something the police thought they saw. You know what I mean? Like, and I thought I was gonna go jail for it, and like at that point, like my daughter was maybe 6 months old, 8 months old. I'm thinking about all the time that I didn't get to spend with my other kids, you know what I mean? I got 3 other kids at the point where I went jail, spent 8 years in jail. Like, my kids have gone through primary school and, you know what I mean? Like, and that's when I was just like, nah, like I can't do that to another child, you know what I mean? Like, and my daughter as well, like I have to be here for my daughter, you know what I mean? So, yeah, that was the point where I was just like, you know what, I'm done with the road, everything that's, like, I was saying to my mates, look, I don't even want to know the price of anything, knowing to, like, treat me like a recovering, I swear to God, I was like, treat me like a recovering addict. Like, I don't want to know nothing, like, I will avoid you, you know what I mean? And even though none of my mates came to me with nothing to do with the road, but I still just stayed in my house. I stayed in my house with my daughter. Like, I spent 2 years with my daughter just while she was growing. Like, taught her colours, taught her the numbers, taught her alphabet, you know what I mean? Like, I just stayed, like, at the same time feeling like I could still go to jail, you know what I mean? Because of this investigation they're doing, you know what I mean? But, yeah, they did the investigation. I was found not guilty, and I just carried on. Started, like at that point, I was just brave enough to just be on Instagram, like, yeah. You know what I mean? Because we're not from camera phone era, like, jumping in front of the camera and talking shit, you know what I mean? We're not from that place. We're from the place of, like, we take back roads to dodge cameras, you know what I mean? Like, now you get money by being on the, you know what I mean? Like, that's,
so it's changed.
But you see, at that point, yeah, like, I had been nothing to do with the road 2 years, you know what I mean? My baby mother's supporting me. I didn't give a fuck. I was like, you know, I'm gonna build this little brand here. I'm gonna go put my face on the camera because I wanna make something, you know what I mean? Like, and yeah, that was my turning point. Like, that whole bit there of my life, that was my turning point. You know what I mean? Just stayed at home with my daughter all the way up until like nursery and that, taking her nursery and, you know what I mean, normal stuff. And I just fell in love with normal stuff, you know what I mean? Started buying drones and flying, you know what I mean? Like just literally, do you know what, yeah? I would like to believe most men that are on the road have a different vision of life, you know, like I would like to be this, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, okay, I'm stuck in this, doing this, yeah, but you know, if I could, you know, like every hood movie you see, like the guy's trying to do his transition, innit? Like, I know every man has got that guy that he wants to be, you know what I mean? And me, that's me, bro. Like, fly a drone, play some computer, like, that's me. It's very much me. You know what I mean? The road, it happened. I feel like coming from where we're coming from, most of us are going to go down that road. Some of us have something that happens that takes us off that road. But some people will do all right and just stay on the road because at this point, it's what they know and it's how they get their money, you know what I mean? But I was fortunate enough to be able to go and explore a different part of life, you know what I mean?
No, thank you. Right, do you feel like artists, rappers mostly as well, in this particular day and age, have a say or an influence in society?
Obviously, yes, innit? Like, that's the way it's the way the world's geared up, innit? Like, even if they didn't have much of a say on their own, they're gonna get sponsored by this one that's gonna push what they say even more, and you know what I mean? This is the way that whole entertainment thing is set up, innit?
Right, we're gonna talk, I guess, on your artist. We're gonna talk a little bit on Arrdee.
Arrdee.
First off, is Arrdee the first, I guess, artist that you've developed in the industry?
Right. Yeah, I'm not gonna take all the credit for Arrdee. Me and Arrdee spent, like, I met Arrdee through the work I was doing in town. Me and him worked together for a couple of years. And obviously, being around each other, you know, we're both going to develop as people, you know what I mean? But Arrdee is very much, he's switched on, you know what I mean? He only needs a gentle little, you know what I mean? So he's done a lot of development on his own, you know what I mean? I met him when he was 16. Things blew up for him when he was 18, you know what I mean? In that time, I've seen him develop, you know what I mean? And obviously, being around me, you're going to develop if you can take the abrasiveness, you know what I mean?
Okay, so...
Did I miss the question?
No, you kind of touched on it, but I was saying, was he the first...
Yeah, well, so at the time when I'm doing studio, the studio basically is in a room in my flat. You know, we moved out of the bedroom and built a studio in the room. And I had loads of local artists come through, some local, some not so local, but it was I was having a turnover of artists. I was meeting loads of artists. Some artists hung around, you know what I mean? I tried to help anybody that comes to my studio. They can't say I didn't try and, you know what I mean? Like, I'll always try, especially where it's going on in my studio, underneath the brand that I'm trying to build. I'm going to put my wholehearted effort into it, you know? So they're all my sons. No, I'm joking. But I developed a lot of artists came through and I've helped with their development. You know what I mean? Like I said, some stuck around, some didn't stick around. And during this time, I met Arrdee and I've built the studio and I found out that production and engineering is definitely not for me. And I needed, that was the last piece of the puzzle, you know what I mean? So I end up, you know what I mean? I end up, like, when he was 16, he did a show in a pub. I went to the show, met him. During that time, 16 to 17, he's always engaging with my page. I'm bigging him up, you know what I mean? Tried to get him on one of my ciphers. He was underage, couldn't get in the place. And then through through this engagement, he's ended up working in my studio, you know what I mean? Doing the engineering and that. So we're just getting to know each other, you know, little things what I see in him, I'll be like, yo, like, You should be like, try and do this instead of, you know, like, and that's what I'm trying to say. At the same time, I was his excuse not to be hanging around with the crowd he hangs around with and get into trouble. You know what I mean? He's got a job now. We're charging for studio. He's making a bit of money. You know what I mean? So yeah. I think I missed the question again. Did I miss the question again?
No. You covered it. You gave it quite a bit more into that. And could you describe, I guess, that process? Even more interestingly now, that process of working with Ardee as, I guess, like studio engineer, someone like your brethren, to then working with him as a manager, and like in that capacity. How was that?
Do you know what? Yeah, like obviously Ardee's got a main manager. Yeah, I like to think I'm like I'm his road manager. Yeah, but I like to feel like in my head, he's made a smart move bringing me on in the sense of he knows I'm always gonna be that abrasive guy that just says how I feel about things. You know what I mean? Because the industry is crazy and it moves fast, and I can see how quick it could swallow somebody up twice his age. You know what I mean? Like I could see how it could just change your life so quick that, you know, it would be easy to be like, yeah, I'm going that way because, you know what I mean? But yeah, it's for me, it's the same because I do the same thing, you know what I mean? We go studio, we mash the work in the studio. I always tell him exactly how I feel about tunes, you know what I mean? And we're on the road together every day, you know, near enough every day, you know what I mean? So we've got a good working relationship and friendship relationship where we can talk to each other, you know what I mean? And just, which I think is, it makes the job a lot easier because trying to build that with somebody that you don't know can be difficult, you know what I mean? You're both gonna kind of be standoffish, you know what I mean? So in many ways, I got lucky with Ardee being the first like artist I've been able to work with.
How important would you say it is for an artist to have a team behind them?
It's really important, and you gotta like you gotta put as many of your own people in place as possible as well. You know what I mean? Like I'm not saying just go and get Tom, Dick, and Harry because you know what I mean. Like out of your friends, you got friends that can put in work in it. Definitely make them part of your team. You know what I mean? Because you got to keep the balance between your actual people and your work people. You know what I mean? I'm not saying it like anyone's out to get you, but you got to have a few of your people around, you know what I mean? So yeah, team is crucial.